Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Yes, I
Good evening.
actually don't like this kind of a remote operation. That's not my style. I always do it with a highly interactive session. But I also need to see you guys, if possible. If you can, at least for a moment, switch on all the cameras and let me see if I can see you guys. Can you all? I think I have switched on my camera, um, but I don't see any of you guys. I don't know why it is, but okay. So is click on the participant icon. I did click and video enable. Okay, one more participants and say video enable. Go with the video enable. More. Nope. Allow mute participants upon entry. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Play sound. Enable waiting room. No, none of them are there. But because this is I am not at all happy with this. There's no point in inviting either, but only I don't know whether you can see me. I don't know whether you can see me, but I don't know. Can you all see me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can see, but I think camera to be adjusted in a way to see your face. We are seeing halfway. Now it's okay.
But I don't see you guys. How come? Because
There's
there is
a
a, I know there
view,
is a,
views. There's a icon views.
right. Now the screen is gone, right?
Yes.
Screen is gone, but your faces are there. Yeah, you can see me now, right? Okay. I can see there are 72 participants. I don't want everyone to introduce themselves, but I can see some of these fellows. As many of you, please switch on your videos, if possible, at least to get a glimpse of who you are, whether you have a head or not. Even at least that I should know. So you guys don't seem to be interested in sharing with me. Okay, never mind. But you don't now see the screen, right? Right. I will share the screen now and start the presentation. Yes. I'm sorry, I was told that the lecture is at 6 o'clock, but later on when I was testing, I found that most of you guys have logged in. Never mind. Usually, this is a high, I like to do this as a highly interactive session, meaning you are free to talk, unmute, and talk back anytime you like. Understand? I want response.
Yes.
Yes,
Understand?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So even if all 72 of you shout together, I don't care, and I do accept that kind of response at certain times. Okay. So I want you to join in the discussion, because as much as you join, you gain a lot. If you don't join, you don't gain much. So okay, let's get on. And there are a couple of video clips as well. So I'll try to see that you get the best of it, and try to, when I think one or two videos, you have to reduce your voice. There is a noise of voice. So the volume, otherwise your eardrums will go for a 6. So don't blame me, right? I am not going to insure you guys against your eardrums getting damaged because I played the video. So that's a disclaimer. Okay, right. So I'm sure you know me. I'm one of the past presidents. That was in 2013, 14 session. Right. Uh, I'm sure that if there are CV guys, they may know me, because I was working for CV for 36 years. Now, before I start anything, I want to share with you some of my favorite videos, quotes, and anecdotes. Uh, my first quote is from a book gifted to me by the author Arup Roy Chowdhury, a good friend of mine. He was incidentally the chief executive officer of a very huge conglomerate in India, National Thermal Power Corporation of India. It's one of the biggest companies in India. And from his book, Management by Idiots, in fact, this particular Mr. Roy Chowdhury became CEO at a very young age of 32 years, with with a staff of 300,000 in India. So he should know what he's talking about. And his book is titled Management by Idiots. You got it? Management by Idiots. So I have given the connection. If you want, you can download this book and see. It's a very interesting book. So the first cartoon I have taken, or the quote I have taken from his book. And the book says, if you don't blow your own trumpet. I hope you know what the trumpet is. If there's time, I'll play the trumpet. Not myself, but I'll show you a video clip with the trumpet. Others will use it as a spittoon. I am sure you know what the word spittoon is. සිංහලෙන් නම් කියන්නේ පඩික්කම කියලා. I don't know what the Tamil word is. I'd like to learn Tamil as much as I can. I know a little bit of Tamil, but I don't know much. So if there's anybody who can tell me what a spittoon in Tamil is, I'll be very happy to note it down, and then I'll use that word as well. And I do it next time. So in Sinhala it's called spittoon. Sorry, English is called spittoon. In Sinhala it's called padikkama, and you know what it is. So if you don't blow your own trumpet, others will make it a padikkama. All right. So this is a cartoon that was there in his book, and this tells it all. Now this does not mean that you babble or jabber or just talk out of turn. As engineers, we can't talk out of turn. As engineers, we must talk sense. In fact, I have a presentation to how to make sense when you talk and write. I don't know why for the last couple of times they have not scheduled that lecture. And if you are lucky, I may be, or if I am lucky, or maybe I'll be able to do that with you at the end of the session, so that you will not make a fool of yourself when you talk, and you make sense when you write. So I don't like engineers to become fools in front of others. So I'll try to help you as much as possible to make yourself worthy of being recognized in the society. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So before I start the B paper proper, I'm going to give a bit of background for most of you who are maybe young, quite a lot of young engineers. And so I'm going to share a lot of my experience. So well, that's another small story that I would like to share with you. I'm not going to share that because I don't see you guys. If I see you guys, of course, I'll tell you what that story is. I can't now. I refrain from telling that story. Okay. In the very old Hindu scriptures, you find this now. I think Hindu scriptures are as old as, they say, 4,000, 5,000 years old. And these are called Vedic scriptures sometimes. There may be Hindus in this class and they may agree with me. Or if you disagree, please tell me you're talking nonsense, sir. I don't get angry with you guys. Right? So if I tell something that you don't agree, please feel free to say that you don't agree. Understood? Sometimes I ask questions, I wait for the answers.
Yes.
Is that understood?
Yes.
Understood.
Right. So you can please disagree with me. That's the only way that we come to proper understanding what we are talking about. So in these old Hindu scriptures, you find this. What does it say? When there is harmony between mind, heart, and resolution. The mind, heart. So mind refers to the thought process, heart refers to your emotions, and resolution, that is your character. Some people have strong characters, some people have weak characters. So resolve the character, then nothing is impossible. It's what I say, Rig Veda. So when there is harmony between mind, heart, and resolution, then nothing is impossible. Do you agree with me or not? Yes or no? Come on, you guys. Am I talking to a set of
Yes, sir.
5-year-olds or grade 5ers or something, and they shout?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I want you to be like 5-year-olds. You can shout, no problem. You agree? Okay, you said you agree, huh?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, nothing is impossible. I don't know what you believe in. I do believe in this. The 2 videos And when you see the second video, you will agree, I do believe in this. Nothing is impossible. My age today is 66 years. And so, okay, that's all I'm going to tell you at the moment. Now, this particular video is not mine, definitely. But yeah, this is the one that is very noisy. So let's see. If you can see this. If you don't see this, let me know. Huh? If you don't see the video or hear the noise, please tell me. You hear the noise? You hear the music?
Welcome to America's Got
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
The video. Okay. Enjoy.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
My name is Tao Porshonlich,
And my name is Bart. I'm 26 years old.
You can
and
adjust
she
your
is-
96.
volume. Huh?
Wow. And you're going to be doing the act together. This is your...
Yes, we're gonna do ballroom dancing together.
How did you meet each other?
Tinder.
So I was teaching one of my mambo classes, and she just walked in to the studio, and from that day, we've been dancing together for 6 years.
Oh, wow. And you think that this is $1 million act?
She's right next to me.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, go for it. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
96.
Look at the age.
Pretty amazing.
I got to say something. I'm very inspired. Seeing a 96-year-old dancing with somebody 70 years younger is just too mind-blowing for words. I love it. I love it. It's an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you very
That's what it's
much.
all about.
Howie, how old are you?
I'm gonna 60 this year. So my dance partner has not been born yet.
Would America like them, Howie? Do you think they would?
Oh, I don't think America will like them. I think America will love them. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to say, that was inspiring.
Plus that she has 3 hip replacements.
Wow.
Wow.
3 hip replacements?
Yes, I don't let anything get the better of me.
No, you don't.
I
You're
think-
amazing.
Good for you. Heidi, what did you think?
I was.
Thank you.
Heidi?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have to say yes, it was great.
All right, well, you got 4 yeses. We will see you again.
I saw a recent video of her, and she's now 99 years old, right? Okay. So let's now see the next video. Right. Age is just a number. Now you got to believe that nothing is impossible. Are you stunned? Are you stunned? Come
Yes.
on. Are you guys there? You're stunned. Only one or two people are responding, right? I'd like everyone to respond. Are you stunned?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then watch this.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. They'll agree that I do believe in this. This happened 3 years ago. 11th February 2018. I'm not sure you regret that guy. So you got to believe that I do believe that nothing is impossible. Okay? Do you agree with me? Nothing is impossible, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you guys are much younger, so nothing should be impossible. Now let's watch this third video. And this Lee Kuan Yew. Listen to the words carefully. You can voice up the thing. I need you to hear the whole thing.
I can tell you that when I met the SIA
Cannot hear it?
I didn't meet them on TV. I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table. So
Can you hear you guys?
And see whether
There's a little bit can manage.
I'm sorry about this. Okay.
whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them two choices.
You hear it now.
Either argue you stop this intimidation, which is what it was.
Okay.
I can tell you that when I met the SIA pilots, I didn't meet them on TV. I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table so they can see me and see whether I'm still vigorous, able to campaign and take them on, whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them two choices. Either you argue, you stop this intimidation, which is what it was, bringing SIA right down, disrupting services, ruining its reputation, millions of dollars worth of advertisements and sales ruined within a matter of 2 weeks. I gave them a choice. Continue this, and I will, by every means at my disposal, teach you and get the people of Singapore, help me teach you a lesson you won't forget. And I'm prepared to start all over again. Or stop it. Get back to work, restore discipline, then argue your case. Took them 65 minutes. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they'll lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
Inspired? Are you guys inspired?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Very inspired.
Very much inspired. Thank you very much for that comment. Okay. I'm sure most of you would have watched this, I don't know, but it shows the character of Lee Kuan Yew, the resolve. So I showed you the mind, the heart, and the resolve to do something. And if you have all these three things together, nothing is impossible to you and I as engineers. So that's the first lesson in this lecture. Nothing is impossible for us as engineers. Singapore was thrown out of the Malayan Kingdom in Federation in 1965, and it was called a very dirty town, a mud hole with a very small port city. In his own words, Singapore was a swamp, mud hole, right? Singapore was full of gangsters. He said he had few millions of people to account for. My dear friends, how many millions of people you and I account for in this country? 22 million people depend on engineers. 22 million people depend on engineers for the development of our country. What can we learn from this man? Remember this is the person who is supposed to have said in 1965 or so, I will make Singapore like Ceylon. I will make Singapore like Ceylon. And how many years? Maybe 45 or 65, 55 years later, where are we and where are they? 55 years later, where are we and where are they? I would say he was a man of immense courage, who never looked back on his mission, firm of his conviction, stayed focused, stayed away from all those who did not fall in line with the commitment to rebuild the nation. You would have heard about several ministers being fired. Some of them are his close friends who did not fall in line with him, did not serve everyone with the same spoon. May ape lokuma prasne. We try to serve everyone with the same spoon as Sri Lankans. That's our culture. There is also saying that if you try to please everyone, you will end up pleasing no one. So don't try to please everyone. What will happen? You will end up pleasing no one. There's a lot to learn from people of this caliber. One of my favorite quotes, I'm thankful for those who said no to me. It is because of them I'm doing it myself. I had this in front of my table at certain times. Not all the time, but at certain times. One of my favorite quotes, I am thankful for those who said no to me. It's because of them I'm doing it myself. Albert Einstein. I don't know how many of you have heard about the Upper Hydropower project. It's a 150 megawatt project. Is there anybody who knows what Upper Hydropower project? Anybody? Just say yes or no. I don't want to know who they are. Anybody knows Upper Hydropower project? And you can show some of your thumbs up, or I can't see any of you guys, but
Yes, sir.
You must be from CB, I'm sure. The person who said yes, sir. CB then?
No, sir. No, we did a project for them.
All right. For them?
For the CB.
CB.
We did.
You're from which organization?
Steel Bridge.
All right, good. Ah, right. The design. You were attached to CCB,
we
right?
did the construction.
All right.
Part also.
For which company is that?
This is industrial engineering.
Industrial. Okay, right. Okay. Its cost is it's a 150 million megawatt project. Cost of approximately 40 billion Sri Lankan rupees. Started in 1992. The studies stalled due to protests on environmental, social, political grounds. Finally commenced its construction in 2006 and completed in 2012. So long history. Why did I do Upper Kuttaram Hydropower project and how did I do it? Most of you may or may not know, the entire country was against the project. My guiding light was a quotation from the Bible. If you know what is right to do and not doing it is a sin. I knew doing Upper Kuttaram Hydropower project was the right thing to do. And I did not want to be a sinner. So I did it myself when everybody said I can't, I won't, and I shouldn't. Right? So I did it notwithstanding any obstacle, any impediment. No one believed that I will do it with so much opposition. Some even wished that I failed. I thank them all. How did I do it? It is because everyone said I will not do it. And I'm a person who doesn't want to take does like challenges. So I did it myself. I stayed focused and was not swayed by the noise around. Politicians shouting, the environmentalists were shouting. Many people were trying to stop me doing this project. There were many decisions by the cabinet to do it and not to do it. If you want to put me into trouble, all what you're doing is very simple. Write a letter to the government and say, the last decision of the cabinet of ministers in 2005, I would say, the decision was to rescind the decision to build the power plant. If you know English, you know what it is to stop the project. And that's the last decision of the cabinet.
By the cabinet. To
Right? The last decision was to rescind all previous decisions to do it. So go ahead. If you want to don't like me, go and tell that I have done it against the decision of the cabinet. I ignored it. Still, I am surviving. Have faith in God. This is a religious sermon, right? Okay. You can think you have resolved in you. You have faith in yourself. Okay. You can replace the word with God is yourself. The person who wrote that cabinet decision was my greatest supporter later. And he is the one who told me, I am the one who wrote that cabinet decision to stop the project. I thank my UKHP staff who only had faith in me. Now I turn to engineering. What is engineering? Who is an engineer? What do you expect to do as an engineer? Are you prepared to face the challenges of engineering education, gain experience, and become a fully qualified professional engineer? You already finished your engineering education. You have already somewhere down the line gaining experience, and you are just about to enter on the threshold of becoming a fully qualified professional engineer. That's why you are doing the B paper. You are somewhere close to becoming a fully professionally qualified engineer, maybe a few months away. And I wish you all the best. There was probably you would have heard this story several times from me. Please pardon me if you have heard this. There was a man by the name Herbert Clark Hoover, right? And this guy is American. He was one day traveling from London to New York on a steamship. And those days, the steamships took about 3 months to cross the Atlantic, right? So he befriended a young lady throughout the voyage, and they sat down for meals together. They had a lot of pleasant times together. They would dance together, right? They enjoyed life together. So on the final day, they were sitting down for the last breakfast, and they could see the New York harbor ahead. And the steamer was gradually coasting on the New York harbor, right? And finally, the lady, after breakfast, she had an urge to ask a question. So in those times, this is the way they ask questions. And they were occupying a first class cabin, okay? The lady was in a first class cabin, the gentleman was in a first class cabin. And the lady asked, I hope you will forgive my dreadful curiosity, but I should like to awfully to know. The lady asked, I hope you will forgive my dreadful curiosity, but I should like to awfully to know. What is the question she asked? Anybody? What is the question she asked? Come on, guys. What is the question she asked? I want few answers.
What is your professional?
Huh? What did she ask?
What is your professional?
What is your profession? That's a very dumb question, isn't it? Anyway, is there anybody else who knows what the question she asked? Come on, you guys. Ayo, I'll stop the class and you can go and sleep. Why are you coming to the class if you don't respond? What is the question she asked? Please. Why are you shy, man? If you are shy, you can't become engineers. You can do something else. Why don't you become someone or just an ordinary man? What is the question she asked? Come on, I got only one question. Others?
I think it's because no one can understand the question. I think it's because no one can understand the question.
The question is, they were associating for 3 months and they were just about to part. They were going to part each other. So on the last day, she asked a question from this man, young man. Both of them were young. And both of them were they were occupying a first class cabin in the ship, right? Each of them had their own cabins, first class cabins. So what is the question she asked on the last day, just before parting? What is the question? What is the question she asked?
Are you in a relationship?
Are you interested in relationship? Is it?
Maybe.
Maybe. Anything else? Anyone else?
Request to come to the cabin.
People are getting interesting now. The questions are getting interesting. Can you please, any other answers? Any other questions? Anybody? Nobody. Right. The lady asked, right? I hope you will forgive my dreadful curiosity, but I should like to offer to know what is your prayer. The first person knew that this presentation has to be presented before. What is your profession? You know what he did? He said, I'm an engineer. You know what happened? Suddenly, this first class lady, she's a Britisher. Her face fell and she was completely disappointed. And she snapped back. And said, I thought you were a gentleman. She snapped back and said, I thought you were a gentleman. So those days, nobody considered the engineers as gentlemen. So those days, the engineers were, because they were smelling. They wore overalls. They had dirty hands. They were very rough. They were tough and spoke often in filth. They had bad mannerisms, not recognized in the society those days. I joined the CB 1979, and even at that time, some of the engineers were very rough people. They were very tough people. Some of them spoke only filth. Yako was the best word that some of these people knew, right? They used to call their workmen Yako, Umbabang. Can you now talk to the workers like that? If you talk like that, you know what's going to happen to you, right? Sometimes they carried a walking stick. You know why they carried a walking stick? You think that they couldn't walk? They used the walking stick on the people, right? They didn't like, they knew how to treat these workers. So will the workers like them? These are the kind of engineers we are famous for, right? They have very bad manners. So, but now, engineers are well recognized in society, have clean hands, we wear perfume, they are not smelling, we have good mannerisms, the society look up to them. The society looks up to them. So therefore, we are treated as esteemed class of people. I don't really we deserve to do that, but the problem is, do we live up to that? Very soon, my dear friends, if we don't live up to the standard that the society is expecting us to stand up for, we will lose our position in the society. We lose our place in society. So the whole purpose of my talking to you today is to make sure that you become professionally qualified engineers as soon as possible. And in doing so, you also build up your stature and you become people worthy of recognition by the society. That's what I'm trying to do. Right. And incidentally, this Herbert Clark Hoover became the 31st president of the United States of America on March 4th, 1929. And he had only one term, just like Donald Trump, right? Of course, not for that reason, because during that period, there was a world recession and he could not recover America. So he could not get the second term. The famous Hoover Dam is built after this famous engineer president. The only president who become who was an engineer, USA. Right. Now let's get on to engineering proper. An engineer is a professional practitioner of engineering concerned with scientific knowledge, mathematics, and ingenuity to develop solutions for technical problems. Engineers design materials, structures, machines, and systems while considering the limitations imposed by practicality, safety, and cost. Now, I would like to add the words environment. Actually, I have taken this straight from the Wikipedia. Right? The word engineer is derived from the Latin root ingenium, meaning cleverness. Now, guys, this is something that I hate to do. I mean, I don't like to do this on Zoom, but I'd like to at least for you to unmute your mics for the moment. Can you all unmute your mics as much as possible? And I want you to do small thing in all honesty and sincerity. When you are clever, what you do? You pat your own back. You know what to do? Pat your own back. I want to hear patting noise. Okay. Louder, louder, louder. I want to hear you. I want to hear you patting your back. Everybody. I don't hear. Everybody. I don't hear it. Loud. Harder. Until you hurt yourself. Oh, I suppose you did that, right? In all genuineness. In class, I see makes them happen. You patted your own back. So every time that you think you are not able to do something, remember, you patted your own back and said, I'm a clever guy. If you have followed a course of engineering in Sri Lanka, if you have passed the Sri Lankan A level, you are the cleverest lot. Right? If you have passed A level in mathematics and gained entry to the universities, I can't think of more clever people than you guys, including myself. So you patted your own back with the hardest pat you can, and always remember, I patted my own back to say I'm a clever guy. You are a clever guy. Okay? So don't ever forget that throughout your career. Engineers are clever people. Engineers are grounded in applied science, and their work in research and development is distinct from the basic research focus of scientists. The work of engineers forms the link between scientific discoveries and the applications that meet the needs of society. I have underlined a few things. Applied sciences. We are not scientists, but there's no engineering without science and mathematics. All of us are masters in science and mathematics, but we are not scientists. Because you know a 500 milliliter bottle of water, plastic bottle, right? All of us have bought it from the shop. What is the approximate weight of a 500 ml bottle of water? Anybody? Come on. I thought you all
300 grams.
500 grams. Anybody else? Any other answer?
520.
520 grams. Any other answer? Any other answer? What is the weight of the 500 ml water bottle? Okay, I got certain answers. If you ask a scientist what is the weight of the bottle of water,
Need to check the specification.
you need to specificate that he's being a good engineer. A scientist will tell after a week or so, these engineers are mad, they are all wrong. The weight of the bottle of water is 510.6834209335. Yeah, correct or wrong? Correct or wrong?
Correct.
Correct. Absolute correct. How do they do that? They would have analyzed the material in the water. How many molecules of heavy water is there? T2O. And how many? What is the composition of the plastic? Got the atomic structure, got the atomic number, got the atomic weight, added up, and told you the exact value. And that is absolutely correct. But is it of any use to the engineers? It has no meaning to the engineers. It has no meaning whatsoever to the engineer. So we are always limited by cost and other environmental factors. We are practical people. We are not pure scientists. And the work of engineers forms the link between. This is the most important thing. The scientists are useless without engineers. The scientists can only discover certain things, and the engineers have to put that into practice. Why? To meet the needs of the society. If there's any person in this audience who doesn't like to meet the needs of society, my advice to you is please give up engineering and go and Tamil Padikam. I see. Wow, 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 wow. Padikam. Same thing as Padikama. So I'm very happy. I got it only now. Right? So if anybody, one of them is not willing to meet the needs of society, please give up engineering right now. Right now. There are few engineers who have done that, and they have gone into robes. You can become a Buddhist monk, or a Hindu monk, or even a Christian monk, or Islam monk, I don't know, Imam or whatever it may be. Give up engineering. Our main focus is we have to meet the needs of society. That's our duty. Right. Therefore, the central focus of engineering profession is the application of scientific knowledge to meet the societal needs. Now here there are two circles, the societal needs and scientific knowledge, and the intersection is engineering. And I was to ask the shape of this intersection. Can you not tell me what does it remind you, this shape of the intersection? Just look at this engineering. What does it remind you now, right now? What does it remind you? I don't want scientific answers. What does it remind you? Anybody? That intersection, engineering, what does it look like? What does the shape look like?
I.
Yes, very good. Any other answers? EYEI. What else? What else? What does it look like? I, of course, remember something else at the moment. I just want to have
a UFO.
UFO. And I did write flying object. She's living in the space. Anything? Come on, get out to the ground level. When you're hungry, what do you see this? As what?
Rugby ball.
Huh?
Rugby ball.
Rugby ball, yes, good one. What else? What else does it look like? Oh, doesn't it look like a paripuade mean? Does it look like paripuade?
Yes.
How many of you have eaten paripuade? No one. Come on, you guys.
Like
a paripuade. So engineers are like paripuade. Paripuade is liked by everybody, and paripuade is needed by everybody. So engineers are needed by everybody, and paripuade is the common man's food, and engineers should be able to meet the common man's needs. Keep that in mind. We are there for the common man, good of common man. On the other hand, engineers are individuals, human beings. So we have our own traits, our inner selves. Some of us have highly analytical skills. Some of us are very creative. On the other hand, engineers may pursue creative efforts without involving analytical skills. And one may apply analytical skills without entering the domain of creativity. So ourselves, we have either highly analytical minds or highly creative minds. They're human beings, right? How many of you belong to the category of analytical minds and how many of you belong to the creative minds? Anybody? I can't see you guys, but I know that. But sorry, I have not put the participants on. If you want analytical minds, raise your hands. Raise your hands, please. Unmute your mics if you don't have some background music, noise. Who are having analytical minds? You know how to raise your hands on the Zoom, right? Anybody? Please. I don't have time to waste. You guys are very uncooperative. Very uncooperative. Okay, once again, last time. How many of you have analytical minds? No one. One, two, three. Yeah. I'm seeing now. I can see Hiran Gamlat, PFS Pereira, Sisra Bekon, TAC Munasinghe, Andra Sampath. Oh, everybody putting hands up. Good. How many of you have now? Lower your hands. Everybody lower the hands. Lower the hands. Right. How many of you have creative minds? Creative guys. Put your hands up. Come on. One. That is Dilumni. I expected a lady. Some ladies are putting their hands up. Okay, I see another lady. Isrul Lasan. Only two, Ani Pau. You guys are so boring fellows, right? Nobody has any, only two people have creative minds and most of the people have analytical minds. Good. So here we are, back to 17 participants raised their hands and 12 participants raised their hands, 9 participants raised their hands for the creative mind. Okay, I see some literature coming back. Okay, so here we are back to engineering. So for example, as engineers apply commercial software to solutions of an engineering problem, the application of analytical skills per se may involve little or no creativity. So if you are using a lot of commercial software, most of it is on analytical domain. On the other hand, engineer may design an ergonomic office space with little analytical skills. Do you know the word ergonomic office space? Anybody who doesn't know? If you ask me, I will define what it is. I assume that you understand what ergonomic office space is. Yes, you know the meaning of ergonomic. Can anyone who raised their hands unmute your mic and tell what is an ergonomic office space? I like your interaction, okay? I encourage you to do that. Anyone, there are two hands up. Can you please tell me what is the ergonomic office space? Don't feel shy, man. Please, come on. These are, others don't even see your faces. So go ahead. Come on. There are two people who raised their hands. Can you tell me what an ergonomic office space is? Please share your views with others. Why are you so selfish? If you know what it is, please share the information with the three participants. Anybody, please. Anybody who raised their hands, please speak up. Ayo, how they? I have to now ask the person who raised their hands. Now they have put their hands further down.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Tell me.
Organic.
Tell me your name. Tell the name. Tell your name.
I'm Hamad here.
Hamad, from where are you working? Hamad?
I'm working at Grover Lanka.
Grover Lanka. Yeah. Please go ahead and tell what you mean by ergonomic office space.
Okay. Ergonomic office space is about the atmosphere you provide in the office, like in terms of seating arrangement and the comfortability you give to the person who sits, like for example,
the environment should be pleasing to work, right?
Yeah.
So there, if you are supposed to design that as an engineer,
yes, correct.
I mean, a lot of creativity is required.
Yep.
Set apart from analytical mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Hence, now
Basic
look at
calls like thermal comfort zones.
That's right. Thermal comfort, ambience, the way you place the seats, everything
Lighting.
matters. Yeah. Yes. Good. I'm very happy about you. Right. Hence, let us now look at engineering from these perspectives. So these all together. So the engineering is still that famous Paripuade, and we have now analytical traits and creative traits. So now we have three categories of engineers, A, B, C. Now A category engineers have more analytical traits, and the C category engineers have more creative traits, and B category engineers have either or little bit of both. And we have all three kinds of engineers amongst us. Now that doesn't mean that any category of engineer is superior to the other. Then you also have this 1, 2, 3. The one category are the kind of people who are very good in analysis while meeting the needs of society. And we are going to come to 1, 2, 3 as well. But we are living in the society. And 2 deals with analysis and creativity and still meeting the societal needs. And 3 is highly creative, meeting the societal needs. So let's now take the whole thing into your head. We are going to define A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. Right. Sector A represents the intersection of purely analytical talents with the engineering domain. So those you guys who said that we are analytical fall into this category. This may be used to represent engineering science and ability to model complex systems and predict their responses to various inputs under various conditions. This segment of engineering has, of course, been the subject of intense development over the last half century and has benefited most directly from the availability of fast digital computers. 40 years ago plus, I was an engineering student. And we had there were 3 computers in the whole country. One was in the State Engineering Corporation, one was in the University of Morto, and one was in the University of Pennsylvania. And that was called IBM 1130. And that computer was about the size of my room. And had far less computation power than even the smallest calculator you may ever think of now, scientific calculator. Right? That was the kind of digital computers we had. Sector C, the intersection of our creative capacity with the engineering domain can be viewed as representing those sudden intuitive leaps, often responsible for revolutionary advances in technology called significant novelty. I'm sure you have worked, we are working with teams. You're working in teams. I'm sure about that. Especially the young engineers, we work in teams, right? So when you work in teams, sometimes you grapple with certain problems together. And you discuss in the office, you discuss at tea time, you discuss during lunch, and sometimes you can't come up with solutions, right? Sometimes, you disperse and say, okay, machan kete balu like that. Right? I don't know what the girls are telling, but I'm sure the fellows are telling, machan kete balu machan, matamahansi. Right? So sometimes you go home and you sleep over it, and sometimes in the middle of the night, or maybe when you get up and taking a shower, it dawns on you, this is the way to solve it, machan. So you are now bubbling to come to office and share with the solution with your friends. So as soon as they come, if you are even having machan, machan, come. I found the answer, machan. And you all come and you discuss and say, this is the way to solve it, machan. How do you get it? Do you do any analysis in the night? No, that was your creative mind at work. So you require creative minds among engineers. You require highly analytical people among engineers. And you require both characters in certain areas. And once again, I tell you once again, no one is superior to the other. Each person has its own characteristics. You have to understand this. As well as those aspects of engineering not yet fully supported by engineering science. If you ask in detail, can you analyze it and tell me how you did it? You will not be able to analyze it. That's how these empirical formulas, numerical solutions have emerged. Doing iterative iterations. They build up formulas based on creativity. Right? Not yet fully supported by engineering science. That remain more an art than a science. Sector B, the intersection of knowledge and need with both creative and analytical case, not just science and mathematics, plus needs of society, and they have a bit of creativity and a bit of analytical capability. They can be used to represent the engineering design and much real world problem solving. This sector includes activities ranging from developing innovative products and processes to creating an innovative bridge design to developing a new control process for petrochemical production, etc. I don't know how many of you have been to Japan and Tokyo. Is there anybody who have been to Japan and Tokyo? Anybody here? If you have been, please shout and say, I have been to Japan. No one? There are 80
Yes,
people.
yeah.
Yes, I have.
Quite a number have been to Tokyo, right? Okay. In Tokyo, have you taken that river cruise? Anybody? There's a famous river cruise in Tokyo. Anybody?
No, I haven't.
No. Have been to Tokyo only. If you go on that river cruise, there are 38 or 39 bridges on that river. And each bridge is different to one from another. Right? And all of them can carry the same weight. It's a beautiful, they call it the Museum of Rivers. Museum of Bridges, not rivers. They call it the Museum of Bridges. Right? Now I told you that we have to also worry about the sector 1, 2, and 3. So sector 1, intersection of analytical skills with societal needs outside the bounds of scientific knowledge might include economics and philosophy. Economics and philosophers don't study engineering, but they meet the needs of society, right? And highly analytical. So the philosophers, the greatest philosopher that you and I know, Lord Buddha, falls into that because he had such a capable analytical skill, and he lived a philosophical life, and he discovered all what you could discover, and he met the needs of the society. Like sector 3 is on the right end, that right end on your screen. Creativity that meet the needs of society. They are the artists. They're the artists, right? And you please mute your mic.
මේ රචන ලියන්නන්න.
අනේ රචන ලියන්න ඉස්සලා මයික් එක මියුට් කරලා ඉන්නවද පුතා? හරි. පොඩි කන් රචන ලියලා පස්සේ උගන්නන්න. Mic එක මියුට් කළා. Okay? Right, no problem. Right. So I also have this problem sometimes. May encompass arts. So without creativity in the society will look very dumb and dull. Sector 2. Here are the most interesting characters, may be used to represent those societal needs outside the bounds of scientific knowledge that require both analytical and creative skills, perhaps including public policy, business administration, and musicians. I'm sure if there are anybody who study music, they have to study a lot. How the notes combine, the sharps and the flats, each instrument, what kind of tone you get, how to blend it. So you need to have analysis as well as creativity in creative music. Engineers can't ignore the above very real issues in the society. So sometimes you may see that we engineers have to interact with these guys to reach the society. Not necessarily, but sometimes. For instance, if you have a good project and to sell it to the stakeholders, the society, you may require people who are very creative in selling that project idea to society. You have to have a creative ways of doing that. And if you want to get certain job done, public policy has to be tinkered around with. And if you want to put a job into action, if you require money, you may have to get the help of the business administrators. So, my dear friends, engineers are great, engineers are the cleverest, but we need the others to help us out in our day-to-day activities in reaching the needs of society. Right. So therefore, engineers are creative problem solvers. You see this? How many of you here are electrical engineers? I am one. How many are electrical engineers? How many are raising their hands? 3. Ayo, only 3. You know, among the engineers, the best are the electrical engineers. You don't say no. So I agree that the entire participants who are 77 in number agree with the 7 plus 1, 8. That's me. That we are the greatest engineers among you guys. You didn't say no. If you didn't say no, that means you agree with me. Not agreed. Satir says not agreed, but all the others agree. So 77 minus 7 minus 1, all of them agree that electrical engineers are the greatest engineers in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for agreeing with me, except Satish. Right. Good. If you don't speak, that's what happens to you. Right? You go by default. Now, get on to theory. There's a huge institution called Accreditation Board of USA. Now that is called Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology, ABET of USA. They boast that they are the largest engineering organization in the whole world, right? They identify engineering as that profession in which knowledge of mathematical and natural sciences gained by study, experience, and practice is applied with judgment to develop ways to utilize economically the materials and forces of nature for the benefit of mankind. All the words are getting repeated again and again and again. I'm not going to go into details because of lack of time. Now there's an International Professional Engineers Alliance, of which IESL is one, and we are one among 30 odd countries in the whole world. So we should be very proud of IESL, that we are one among very few countries in the whole world who is a full member of the International Professional Alliance. And in that, there are 3 accords: Washington Accord, Sydney Accord, and Dublin Accord. Now, all the engineering graduates like you and I fall into this category of engineers who are worthy of being granted Washington Accord. Of course, we got the Washington Accord full signatory status only on the 14th of June 2013, 2014 in fact. And I was very fortunate to be the president at that time. And that was granted to us in Wellington, New Zealand on that particular day. And I was the proudest man among the engineers on that day. Right? So that is the engineering degree qualification, degree standardization, but most of us don't have that, don't worry. And why I am bringing that is just one thing. So depth of knowledge required among the engineers. So we are problem solvers. And I said we are creative problem solvers. So if you are creative problem solvers, we have to solve complex engineering problems. That is our role. And what do we require? Cannot be resolved without in-depth engineering knowledge at certain standards are given there. But the most important words are here, which allows a fundamentals-based first principles analytical approach.
Excuse me, sir. Table is not clear, sir.
I know that. So what you must do is, you go after this class, type the words International Engineering Alliance, and these documents will appear, and please browse it, and these tables are there. And it's worth that you read the whole document. It's about 16 pages, or 13, actually 13 pages. And all these tables are there. Try to study what graduate attributes are required, because this is required for your professional review. In fact, the competencies that we are talking about are based on international professional engineers competencies. I'm not going to go into details. So I only, good that you raised this question, and it's called International Professional Engineers Alliance, IPE, and IEA actually, International Engineering Alliance. And you get all these documents, and they're not huge documents. There's one particular document about graduate attributes. Please read that, and it will serve you very well to face the exam at B paper, as well as face the interview thereafter. Better go and read that. Then all your competencies that we are talking about, the core competencies, are described very well in those. That will help you. I'm sorry, I can't of the quality of the slide. What do we need our engineers to be? We need our engineers to listen with an open mind and speak up when required, which you're not doing. You should be in a talking mood. That doesn't mean babbling. You do not Russian words, but that's the most important thing. You have to speak sense. You write well, clear and logical writing in whatever they write. Fiercely careful about accuracy. I think I have slipped some slides. Let me see. You got to have good manners, courteous, and well-mannered. Dress well. Be smartly dressed to suit the occasion. In fact, I have a presentation. Perhaps if I have the second lecture, I'll do that. Read well. Such of media, news channels, journals, technical reports. Actually, this slide has come in the wrong place. Okay, never mind. So this is what our engineers should be doing. And work hard. Work hard. Are you ready to face the challenge? Are you ready to face the challenge? Please unmute your mics. Are you ready to face the challenge? Everybody.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
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 You said you are ready to face the challenge. Are you? Are you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Ah, I like that. I like that. When you face the challenge, there are two things. When you face a challenge, you must confidently take the challenge, thinking, if I can't, who can? If you think that if I can't, who can? you can face any challenge. You can face it. But once you face the challenge and overcome the challenge, succeed as engineers, we must be, yes, Darshan Raghunathan. Yes, you raised the hand. What is your question? Darshan?
Yes, sir. I raised the hand before. So you asked.
All right, okay.
Raise the
Say
hand.
yes,
That's
that
it.
you are willing to face challenge.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So that's if I can't, who can? That is the first premise. The second premise is after winning, be humble enough to say. After winning, be humble enough to say, if I can, who can't? If I can, who can't? Now, sometimes we are confident in saying, if I can't, who can? And do the work and forget about everything and forget about the second important matter. Darshan, can you roll your hand? Darshan, please roll your hand. You don't
Sure,
say,
sir. Sure.
if I can, who can't? You don't say that. Do you know what it means? If I can, who can't? That means if I ever find a solution to an engineering problem, that is not for me to keep it. The days of the old Vedamahatya, who used to keep what you call the Guru Mushti in Sinhala, I don't know what it is in Tamil, who had the knowledge for himself and died with the knowledge, that is not for engineers. If I can, who can't? That means if you overcome a problem, it is your duty, bounden duty, to publish that result. How do you do that? Any suggestion? Any suggestion how you meet this second requirement? If I can, who can't? What does it mean to us as engineers? There's a practical way of doing this. Anybody here?
Declaring.
How do you declare? Yes, declaring. How do you declare? Where do you declare? What do you do if you succeed? Come on. Come on. Anybody who can think? I thought you people who can think, right? You said you patted your back and said we are
Showcase the world.
Huh?
Showcase the world.
Sorry?
Showcase the world.
I can share the PowerPoint. Somebody's asking, I can share the PowerPoint. So can we add a motivation phrase? Never fear anyone when your facts or solutions are right. So just pick up. Yes. Thank you very much. Please send it to me. I'll write down my email address as well. Right? So you can send me email. I'll send you my presentation. If I can, who can't? Please give me some more ideas. How do you do that? If I can, who can't? How do you do that? How do you do that? Come on, come on, come on, come on. I want answers. Yes.
So we can publish the researches that we conduct.
Absolutely right, my dear girl. What is your name, please?
My name is Dinali Gamage.
Dinali Gamage, you're working for that company, right?
I'm working for a project, actually, government project.
Government project?
Yes.
What area is that?
It's water supply, sir.
Water supply. Right, good. Dinali Gamage.
Yes.
You said the correct answer. You have to publish papers, my dear friends. That is why we have so many occasions for you to do that. Right? I was keen. I was instrumental in setting up the young members section for you guys who are under 35 years of age. Please join whatever little bit that you do. Even I have allowed people who have hobbies to put something out. But it has to be in writing for people to read and treasure it. That is how you build up what you call the body of engineering knowledge in this country. You can't keep it for yourself. Whatever you come, it can be something that you have learned from your project, can be anything. Please publish papers. I encourage you to do that. Let's move on. Now, let's get on to the professional review examination. IESL tests candidates on professional experience and the knowledge on general issues faced by engineers and the society they work in. It comprises of a viva voce, that's the interview, an oral examination, shortened form we call it viva. It simply means an interview aimed at assessing one's knowledge. A paper which is prepared specifically to examine the candidate on his specific experience. So after the interview, we give a question paper, right? And generally the question paper, when I do that, I set one on your highly technical professional skills that comes out from your interview, and one margining on the bordering on the management side of the work. That's most of the PR panelists do that. So we prepare for that. And the B paper. So today we are going to talk about the B paper, introduction. And it's aimed at testing the candidate's knowledge on engineers' role in society. So what I tried to do was the engineers' role in society and the general affairs. What do we examine at IESL B paper? In Engineering Council UK examination, there is a specific subject called Engineer in Society. Of course, engineering society syllabus is quite vast, and most of the Sri Lankan engineers could not pass the engineering society paper those days. It's very tough, right? But we have a much simpler paper. It is called the B paper. We at IESA call it B paper. And we test the knowledge, that's what you are getting prepared for. We test the knowledge on general issues faced by engineers and the society they work in. But we have a syllabus. It's very wide. I don't know how many of you have seen the syllabus. And related to day-to-day issues we as engineers face in society. How many of you have looked at it? Anybody have looked at these papers, past papers? No one. Is there anybody who has looked at the past papers? You have very few days more to go. PFS raise the hand. Only one person has seen the past papers. How can you prepare for an exam without at least looking at the past papers? Yes, Hemanta, a few people have seen. And I make a request from all the others. Get hold of some past papers and write some answers, show it to some seniors. If I get few of them, I can't look at so many. I have done that in the past also. I will, if it is within my reach, if it is within my ambit, I'm an electrical engineer. I was working in the CB for 36 years, right? You can send something to me for me to correct it. I'll give you feedback. Have you gone through some of the lectures done last year? It's available in the YouTube. Even my lectures may be available, right? So listen to some of these lectures at leisure. At the time that you are looking at various things that are coming up in the YouTube, devote this time to look at some of those YouTube presentations that are recorded in this IESL website. Listen to some of the eminent speakers. We have selected some very eminent people to give lectures. Are you aware of the structural B paper? Perhaps you are. If not, I'll try to help you. Have you gone through the past papers? There are some chats coming up. Let me see what the chats are. Never see anyone you when you yes, some people have seen yes, that's what they're saying. You're aware of the structure of the B paper, right? I recently somebody brought up this matter of my cookpier. He of course told it in a very of course like criticizing me. I don't care. Have you gone through past papers and attended them? I had to call him later on and say what I mean by kuppy. So he thought asking engineers to cook kuppy is not good. I don't believe that. What do you mean by kuppy? I never used the word kuppy when I was in the university. I learned from you guys, younger fellows. Copy. What is copy? All of you know that. A person who knows something better tells the others. That's what we copy, right? During our time, we didn't have call it copy, or we still had copy, right? I still remember my part 2 telecommunication. I was very weak in telecommunication, and my roommate put a copy. And you know what happened? I passed and he failed. That's how good copies are. Right? He put a copy to me on telecommunication. I passed. That was a very tough paper. Part 2 telecommunication in University of Morocco. Right? I passed and he failed. See how good copies are? So what do I mean by copy? Most of you guys are living in the outstations, and you meet your colleagues. Some of you may be CV engineers, telecom engineers, waterboard engineers, and some of you may be working for private companies, right? You get together with your friends and discuss some of these papers, because these papers have various kinds of questions. Some questions are from electricity sector, some questions are from road sector, some are from the irrigation. You cannot escape answering this. You have to be prepared, though you may not have necessarily in-depth knowledge. That's what we are testing you on. So please feel free to have organized copies. Of course, somebody told that word in a very derogatory manner, as if I am promoting copy. I do promote copy. I'm not scared to say that. Some people, interesting things are coming up. Right. Oh. Wild apricot dog pad. What is this? Purna is sending some Hamad. No, some response is coming. I don't know what this is. Wild apricot org.pag. I don't know what it is. There's a gray color window covering the middle of the slides. Is it the same for all or only for me? Are you having some problem with the slides? Hello? Please speak up. Sulochana is saying that
Yes.
there is a problem.
I think the
You
chat
can't read
box
that?
is at the middle, sir. If you
That's
can
at
move
the
it to
moment. For the
the
moment,
side.
I will move it to the side, but I will stop it. But let me see what is there. Sir, could you kindly close the chat window? Okay, I'll close it now. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it okay now? Okay, fine. So I'm back to normal, right? Right. Right. Now this is the structure of the B paper. We check your communication skills. Make no mistakes, my dear friends. As engineers, you have to be clear in what you say. You write something for people to understand. I had a special session on that, but I don't know, for the last 2 sessions, they did not give me that session. You can ask Sanjeeva to arrange that lecture for you. I can do that another 2 hours towards the end, so that you can be prepared how to answer questions. I'm giving some examples. Communication is key. You cannot escape that. Code of conduct is the key. I always tell, what is 10 commandments for Christians? What is Panchasila for Buddhists? What is Vedic scriptures for the Hindus? What is Panchasila once again for the Islamists? We have 5 precepts in Islam, right? It is code of conduct for engineers. How many clauses are there for in the code of conduct? How many clauses are there?
Section 12.
8.
8 clauses. Do you know how many rules are there? Do you know how many rules are there? Anybody? There are 45 rules. My dear friends, There's no escape for you. Read, 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 and understand the code of conduct. If you don't understand, ask any senior person, including me. If you write to me, I'll explain to you. Code of conduct. It's called code of ethics as well. And awareness of events taking place in the society. These three things you cannot escape. Communication skills is must, both written and verbal. And code of conduct, you have to have a very good understanding, and how it applies is very important. And an awareness of events taking place in society is of paramount importance. Because you are going to work for the society, needs of society. If you don't know the needs of society, you will be like fish out of water. And people will reject you as an engineer. So the written B paper would be 3 hours duration and consists of 2 sections. Section 1 will be on engineering ethics and code of conduct, whilst section 2 will be on topics based on issues taking place in society. Please, can you unmute? Can you mute your mic, please? Some of you who just unmute, please mute your mics. Based on issues taking place in society, both local and foreign. And other spheres, and in other spheres other than engineering, that has direct impact on society, like environment, economics. I don't know what lectures that have been arranged for you guys. There's a table, I'll show it to you later on. Out of the questions in section 2, some of the questions will be on topics of general nature, where specific knowledge about the area subjected to this question is not necessarily required to answer them. Now, what does it mean? Economics, international affairs. We are not economists. We are not studying international affairs, but we must have a general knowledge of what is happening around us. But you need to have some kind of understanding, but you need not be a specialist. Candidates are usually asked to analyze, express opinions, comment, give views, and elaborate certain things on certain issues taking place in the society. A candidate who is generally sensitive to what is taking place around him and who can form an opinion about them should be able to answer these questions without difficulty. I have been correcting B paper answer scripts for more than 15 years. This is why I thought the second session is very important, because I show some examples. I must tell you, my dear friends, some of the answers are horrible. There's a Sinhala saying, I'd like my Tamil colleagues to enlighten me on the similar idiom if you have, civil statement if you have, which says in English, where are you going? Coconuts in the basket, sir. Where are you going? Coconuts in the basket, sir. Not only Sinhala, මොකද කියලා. අර කියන්න බලද? Sinhala.
යන්නේ කොහෙද මල්ලේපොල්?
කොහෙද යන්නේ මල්ලේපොල්? Is there a Tamil saying like that? My friends who can speak Tamil? Is there a Tamil saying like that? Huh? කොහෙද යන්නේ මල්ලේපොල්? My dear friends, some of the answers are, where are you going? Coconuts in the basket. Please don't do that. You guys are senior people. You have been working in the field for several years now, at least 4 years plus. I know that for sure. So don't give silly answers. I have marked several question papers. I feel very, 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 very sorry. I wish I can show you some of those answers. I have taken some answers and kept it for you to see. Right. Other questions will be based on specific pre-identified areas like roads, irrigation, telecommunication, power and energy, so on and so forth. So you cannot escape, my dear friends. If you want to pass, then pass well, right? Work hard. Start looking at what is happening around you. Ask the water board engineers, hey, what are the projects going on in your area? What about this central highway? Where is it happening? What are the novel features in those construction works? Right? You should have a good understanding, not an in-depth understanding, but a good understanding. Candidates are required to answer 4 questions, selecting 1 from section 1, and 3 from section 2. Candidates can select any mix of questions irrespective of the type in section 2. So section 2 might have about 8 or 10 questions. You can select only 3. Do you know, my dear friends, there have been cases where some people have answered 2 questions from section 1 and 2 questions from section 2. Can you call them engineers with experience? Each question will carry 25 marks and the passing mark is 50. IESL will be testing you on communication skills, the art of communicating clearly, concisely, and intelligibly in English, the art of structuring an answer, the beginning, the body, and the conclusion, presentation and the flow, transition from one point to another, proper use of paragraphs, writing grammatically correct English as much as possible, spellings, and writing answers to the point is very important. Unfortunately, I really feel like crying when I see some of the papers, answer tips. I cannot understand these are written by experienced engineers who have been to our university systems. Ethics, code of conduct. You know that Razar has done. So he's a very good lecturer. Issues affecting the society, social, economic, political factors, gender issues, behavioral sciences, national development, industry. All this will not be encompassed in any question, but you should have a good understanding. National development, industry, commerce, role and responsibility of engineers as a member of the society. I got part of it, and there's another lecture coming up. And as a professional, public perception of engineers, strengths, opportunities, and threats to the profession, role of the civil society, environmental issues, emerging technologies, international affairs, government's national policy, and Sri Lankan economy, major infrastructure projects taking place, and plans for the future. Even if you can't study all these things in the next few days, try to have a cursory view of these issues. And if you feel that something needs a little bit more reading, go ahead and read it. Spend your time this next couple of weeks perhaps developing yourself on these lines, if you're not already done so. There are questions coming up. Let me see the chat box. Right. How can we reach you to get help for any question? Yes, I will put my email down. My email is very easy. I'll just keep it for a moment in the chat. SHAVINDRANATH SHAVINDRANATH at gmail.com. Okay. You can see that on the screen, Shavindranath at gmail.com. Okay. So if you send me some papers, I can't guarantee that I'll answer. I'll correct everything. I'll try to do my best, whomever I can. Right. Also listen to the lectures on specific topics arranged by the IESL from time to time. And this series of lectures and last few years on which few questions will be directly based upon. So why not take some time and instead of looking at various other videos, look at this, some of these that are available in YouTube. Why do students fail in the B paper? The real reason. Candidates do not work hard and prepare adequately to meet the requirements, as you did in the school, university, IESL examinations. They do not read technical literature, national newspapers, international journals, or simply not interested in topics other than their own area of specialization. It's a very bad habit. It's a very bad habit. I met a lot of engineers who don't. Hi guys, good evening. I thought of creating a WhatsApp group for sharing knowledge in order to get through the B paper, even though I'm late starter. Let's see. Please share your contact details in the below link. So I am very happy that you are getting ready yourself. That's the way to go. Hamad, thank you very much for doing that. So, but what I'm saying right at the last, some of you guys, some of the engineers I have seen, they're not at all interested in any other subject area than their own areas. You can't do that. You can't do that. You don't need to be a specialist, for heaven's sake. You can't, if you are an electrical engineer, don't try to be a specialist of foundations. Don't try to be a specialist of geotechnical engineering. You are an electrical engineer. Do your job well. But you must have good understanding of what your friends are doing out there in the roadworks, in the telecommunication sector, and how they plan things. Why can't you have that? Why can't you speak to your friends and find out what they're doing? Do that. Problems faced by the candidates. The problems faced by the candidates and their weaknesses have been identified to be the following. I keep on telling this like a broken record. Poor reading habits. I know when you were small, our parents used to tell us to read, read, read and read. Your teachers used to tell you, read, read, read and read. You come to the university, forget about your reading habits. Why you have a, I don't know if you can see my picture, you have this farm top. You can play games, computer games, you get a tractor. I can give you one piece of advice, my dear friends. Computer games are important to keep your brain alert sometimes. Sometimes I also do very, very occasionally. Maybe once a month or something, I do computer games. Not more than that. I play Sudoku almost once a week when I get the weekend papers. That helps to keep your brain alert. But don't overdo it. Please. Please don't get addicted to computer games. Get addicted, forget about engineering. You will be a dumb fellow, not liked by anybody in your society. Get out of that habit if you have that habit. Get into a reading habit. I've been telling my juniors, spend 50% of your time in engineering reading. It can be letters that come to your door or on your table, can be reports, can be journals, can be anything. Get into the habit of reading. You'll never get out of it. That's the key to success. Lack of common knowledge of common affairs, especially politics, economics, and social issues. Right? You can't do that. As engineers, you can't do that. Inability to correctly understand the question. This is a serious problem. Serious in the capital words. S-E, I'm going to spell wrongly. S-E-R-I-O-U-S in capital. Serious inability to correctly understand the question. Right? Please don't do that. Try to read, and if you read more, you'll be able to understand the question properly. Let me tell you, one day I had to actually correct someone else's paper because he, after giving the examination paper, he died, and I had to correct his papers. So I had to listen to his presentation and then corrected. It was on something like conflict resolution or something. So he goes on in this lecture. He talks about the conflict resolution. One method was to how to carry out have a meeting proper. So this question was on conflict resolution, and this person wrote down a complete 3 or 4 pages on how to carry out a meeting. Can I give marks? I can't give anything more than 2 or 3 marks out of 25. You have to be able to understand the question post-active. Because engineers, we are quite senior engineers, right? And when we write questions, we write in our own language. Meaning, as senior engineers. You guys are junior people. You should be able to understand how the seniors write reports. That means you have to read them. Inability to structure a response to a question. Inability to write clearly and concisely. When I say clearly and concisely, clearly is one thing. Concisely means, once again, I'm sorry for the Tamil-speaking people. I can express this better in Sinhala. In Sinhala, we say, well, you write on woolly things. You write everything else than what you need to write. There are some people who do that. They write everything than what you want to write. So if you may be having friends also like that, if you ask them a question, they tell everything around the problem, but we did not answer the question. That's something in the character of these people. And if you're one of them, please write and speak, practice to pinpoint your answers. It's very important. But people don't have all the time to read unnecessary things. Paper marking is very difficult. So if you see a lot of unnecessary words, we tend to give low marks and finish it off. We may not read your entire answer. That's the fact of life. The problem with English language. I have to deal with that in the second lecture. Let me see if I can do that. It's almost now 7:30, but I'll still go on for another 15 minutes. Right? Please bear with me. To overcome these problems, right? To overcome these problems, there's another question coming up. What is that? Good idea, Hamad. Yeah, you all can have a chat. Okay. To overcome these problems, a series of lectures are conducted about 3 months before the PR. Not actually 3 months, they are now about a month or 1 week or 2 weeks. ISL hopes that this series of lectures and interaction with ignorant resource persons will help candidates to overcome their weaknesses before this examination and enable them to face the paper with a greater degree of confidence. IESL will do its part. What do you have to do? Attend these lectures as much as possible. If you miss, look them up in the website. Read articles of national interest, especially on engineering-related issues and issues that impact the national economy, international affairs, relations, and environment. Attempt the past papers and write answers to those questions and check with the resource persons if they would like to give us feedback on your answers. I'll most certainly do on my subject areas, but now subject to availability of time. If you are not quite competent in English, please follow an English course because English is not our mother tongue. Let us look at these awful pictures. Electrical short circuit caused this fire. The electrical engineers are responsible for this. Same picture. An old building collapsed in Fort. The engineers in the local authorities are responsible for this. You know the Bangladesh, Dhaka, in 2013, are the worst engineering calamities. You know, the Bangladeshis and Sri Lankans are very common. See the number of people who have come to see this thing happen. Right? People are still coming from all over the place, just like in Sri Lanka. Is that a calamity? People come from all over to see what has happened. Dua Samosan dua walan. Hariyasai. So Sri Lankans are like Bangladeshis. No different. Looks funny. There was a joke in one of our newspapers. Entire bridge has collapsed in China. Can we afford to laugh at them? Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Come on, where is this? Is there any RD engineer?
In Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows where it is. RD engineers? Yeah, series should have shown this to you. This is Dharnigala. So we can't afford to laugh at others. If technologists and technicians try to do the job of engineers, this may happen. So don't put yourself the shoes of technologists and technicians, who are the other three categories that I showed you in that chart. I did not explain that. But are we prepared to face the challenge? You said yes. Can we confidently say that we engineers in Sri Lanka will not let this happen? Can ISL assure that our chartered engineers are in a position to avoid this kind of disasters? The answer is in your hands. So I'm going to skip this, right? You should do that, but I skip this because I start a little late. These are the awful numbers. Look at the bottom line. The last examination was 60% passed, and one before that 47%. And in between, the marks have not been given. It was a dismal 44%. The March 2000 or something like 44% pass. Can we believe this? Can we believe this? I can't. I don't like to believe this. You need to improve your standard. Okay, I'm not going to go through this. These are simple tips on the how you write the exam, right? And these are the schedule for the Zoom meetings. I don't like the Zoom meetings. I like the face-to-face, but can't help it. I got used to Zoom meetings. Good. Are you ready? Are you ready to do the challenge?
Yes, yes.
All of you,
Yes.
unmute your mics, unmute your mics. All of you, I want a resounding yes.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. So keep this picture in your head when you go to do the B paper. Punch that adult in the face and you accept the challenge. Right? You guys still said clever. You should be expressive. Otherwise, others will make it trod on you. Don't allow that to happen. And I said, people hold you in high esteem. Live up to that standard. All the best for your future career. I'm always there to help you, young engineers. Any mentoring, anything, any difficult questions that you may face, I gave you the email address. I will be able to help you guys as much as possible, given the time constraints that I have right now. I'm in the middle of marking a whole lot of papers, so I cannot promise to correct all your papers if you send me, but I'll try to do if I get few of them. So any other questions that you would like to ask me? I'll give you a couple of minutes. Anyone can ask me any question on the lecture or on the ISL. Yes, you can have the PowerPoint. I think I can ask. You can ask the ISL. That's a better idea. I think Chamare is there. Speak to them because they have my presentation always. They'll share it with you. And I also have a lot of literature that I usually share with during my second lecture. And if the second lecture is not happening, you can also get that lecture notes, where I teach you how to make sense when you talk. And right, let me see if I can see you, friends, and then let's have a chat if necessary. See, I can see you guys, and you can, I don't know whether I can see you guys. I'd love to see you guys, but that's more personal. And so there's a chat coming up. What does chat says? Can you some chats? Can you all put up your? You're most welcome. Some of you are saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very sweet of you. Right? I know that all of you say thank you to me, so don't worry. But let's have one last try to see every one of you. And if you want to have, I put all my. I don't know. Somehow I can't see you guys. This has been happening to me sometimes, but no, I can't. This time I can't see anyone. Right. I don't know how you see this. Right. Okay. Can you all put your videos on? So that may I be able to see you guys? And if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Huh? Okay. If not, you can quietly leave. I can see people are leaving. If you still have any, please add me. Hamad has given his WhatsApp number. I think you all are sharing your numbers. So please collectively do your best for the exam. That's perfectly all right. Okay. Can I then say goodbye and good night and stop?
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you